welcome to today's episode of Stevenson Grammar. We have special guest, Hermione. Woohoo! All right. And what? Oh, and Hermione is even wearing her special Hogwarts socks.
Yes.
Okay. So, with no further ado, we're going to do Chapter 10. Week 9 of Stevenson Grammar. Over here you can see our list of things that we're going to talk about. This should not take very long, so we're going to just start going. All right. I would like you to open your Stevenson Grammar notebooks. Stevenson Grammar notebooks, these guys, right? Your red Stevenson Grammar notebooks.
Can you hold this for a second?
Open your Stevenson Grammar notebooks to your parts of speech tab and go to your verbs page. We're going to first off add to the verbs page. So far, what do you know about verbs from your verbs page? Anybody?
A verb is a word that does an action.
Exactly.
Helps another verb or does a synonym.
Nice. What else did we recently we've added the to be, the infinitive, the verb phrase, the to plus a verb, right?
I don't.
So, remember we talked about some tricky prepositions that don't necessarily tell position? Well, there are some tricky verbs that don't necessarily, we don't think of them as showing action.
Was, is.
Exactly. Well, this is interesting. So, I would like you to on your parts of speech page, your verbs under your parts of speech tab. Oh, Hermione's having a problem. Okay.
Oh man, Hermione is very hot.
I would like you to add underneath your verbs. I would like you to add this phrase, right? This sentence. Many verbs show action. Some show state of being. Okay. So write that down. And then we will give some examples of some that show state of being. Anyone? Can anyone give me some examples?
Am is always were, be, being, been.
Okay, good. So I will add those. Write these underneath on your verb page. You said have, has, had. Am, is, are, was, were.
Have, has, had, do, does, did.
Oh.
Should we
Sorry about this in the background.
Be, being, been. Okay, that's good. There's some other words in here too that they list on their Stevenson Grammar. They say shall be, that's future tense. Will be, future tense. Have been, shall have been, will have been, and then they also have, has, had as well. All right, well, so write this stuff down on your verb page. On page 40 in the Stevenson Grammar, it says something interesting that I didn't know. So I'm just going to read this to you. It says that the word be comes from the word to breathe in a Proto-Indo-European language. I don't know what that means. A Proto-Indo-European language. So what it says is, you guys have these, right? I'll just write it over here.
European language or something?
They're saying be comes from the infinitive to breathe. Let's talk about that for a minute. What do you think that means? I mean, what can you see how we would have, our English language would have taken be from to breathe?
Maybe like if you're being, you're basically alive. You can't be alive without breathing.
Right, that's true. So Exactly. That's really good. So if you're in somewhere, you were breathing there, and therefore
Or B.
B.
Hermione is not used to pencils.
So you can see how even though most of the verbs that we've talked about up until this point have all been action verbs. They've shown action. But you can see how if you breathe, is that an action?
Yes.
It is an action. So you can see if be comes from breathe, then be is also an action. And all of these words, that's why they're verbs, is because they also show an action. Okay. We're going to move on to the exercises tab then. Do you guys have all this stuff written down? So I'm going to write down a sentence. I'm getting this from page 41 on the Stevenson Grammar Teacher's Manual. So you can turn there, follow along. Oh, it takes forever to erase with a teeny weeny little eraser. There we go.
Go, 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 go.
Okay. The word is Howard was at the game in time to play. Oh. All right. All right. We're going to analyze this sentence. So write this down on a clean exercises page. Write the week 9, chapter 10 on the top of the page. So we're going to analyze this using our sentence analysis steps. What is this first thing that we do, Allison?
Read a whole sentence.
I'll have you do that. Do this later, okay? Because I want you to do this over here. Take this. Read the whole sentence.
Howard was at the game in time to play.
Great. What's the second step up there?
This is an
Check for
exercise,
twos.
right?
Check for twos.
Yes, copy this down in exercises and do what Allison's doing. Check for twos. Good.
Then label. Wait, yeah.
Find.
Find and label preposition words, noun,
And prepositional phrases.
and prepositional phrases.
Okay, so preposition words.
This is a noun.
Okay. What did you mark? Okay.
And
Wait. Okay, good. In time. Good. So that's the
game.
game. What's the preposition that goes with that? Uh-huh. So at is a preposition word. Game is a noun that belongs with the preposition word. So and the prepositional phrase starts with the preposition, ends with a noun, and everything in between. So at the game. No. That's incorrect. Okay. So
Plays
stop
noun.
there. And then in is a preposition word. Time is the noun, and everything in between so is the prepositional phrase. Now, what's number 4? What's step number 4 up there?
Step number 4 is label adjectives.
Label the adjectives. Good. Do you see any adjectives? Howard, you said is a noun.
Mhm.
Was, is that an adjective?
No,
No. The is not labeled. What is the?
it's an adjective.
Okay, that was the article adjective. What word does it modify?
Game.
Good. It tells which
Which
game.
game.
Good job. Good. Okay, what's step number 5? Find and label verb phrases. So, remember how we did the check for the twos? I noticed that you didn't put P, didn't make that a preposition word, did you? You did
No.
not, right?
No.
Because the word following the two is a
Verb, not an
verb
adjective.
or a noun.
Verb.
Verb. So go ahead and make that a verb. And verbs we label with 2 double underlines underneath of it. And a phrase, we signify a phrase by doing the squiggle line underneath, right? So to play is a verb phrase or infinitive, right? Okay. Now, we have one word left, don't we?
Find and
Step number 6.
Find and mark. Find, mark, and label main verb. Yeah.
Okay,
And then there's step 7.
So find, mark, and label the main verb. What word is left? Was. Remember those stated being verbs that we just wrote down on the board?
Mm-hmm.
Was is one of those, isn't it? So
I
write
think-
MV. MV and double underline it. All right, now we want to do step number 7, find and label the subject, right? So, who was or what was? Howard. So Howard is the subject, right? So put one line under Howard, and you can write SUBJ in front of that in, so you know it's the subject noun. SUBJ. Wow, look guys. Okay, step back a minute. We have labeled every word in that sentence, right? So, you guys add that to your exercises page. Then, I want you to turn to page 42 in your teacher's manual. Okay, turn to your exercises tab.
Which is the very first one.
Is it? Okay, guys. After that sentence that you did, I want you to
On the same
where's your
page?
pencil? Yeah, just below it. Go down to the next. I'm going to write the beginning of a sentence, and I want you to add,
It's serious black, guys.
I want you to add one verb phrase and then one prepositional phrase, and then we're going to analyze the completed sentence.
Professor McGonagall.
So,
Joe.
June.
No, Joe.
Okay, fine.
Because Joe's a funny name. It's a great name.
Joe.
Advice for you guys, name is Joe.
Joe tried. Add an infinitive. What's an infinitive?
Verb phrase.
Yes, so it's to and a verb, right?
Well, I mean.
So help me.
Joe tried to be better than his brother Jack, but failed.
No.
And did it.
To. Go ahead, Joe.
Joe tried to pass the driving test.
To pass. And then add a prepositional phrase. Joe tried to pass.
To
Give me a
pass
preposition.
under the bridge.
Good.
But the troll stopped him, and then he killed the troll. By yelling, Hadouken!
Under the bridge. Okay, now let's analyze it. What's the first thing we do?
Read the whole sentence.
Read the whole
Joe
sentence.
tried to pass under the bridge.
Great. Check for twos is the second thing. There's one. Find and label the position words.
Under.
Okay.
Go under the tree.
And then the nouns.
Bridge.
T-N.
Okay.
Joe.
Bridge.
And then the prepositional phrase. The prepositional phrase starts with a preposition, ends with a noun, and all the words in between. Okay. Now we want to label the adjectives. That's step number 4, right?
The bridge.
Okay. Tell us.
Wait, only adjective.
Okay. Find and label the verb phrase. So we checked for the twos. This tells us to stop. Is this is pass a noun or a verb?
Verb.
Verb. So, and what kind of phrase is this? Is if it's a verb?
Infinitive?
A verb phrase or infinitive. That's right. So to pass. All right. Now we want to find step number 6. Find, mark, and label the main verb. What's the main verb? We have 2 words left. Is it Joe or tried?
Tried.
MV. Good. Who tried or what tried?
Me.
Joe. So that's our subject noun.
Underline it once.
Joe tried to pass under the bridge. Everything is marked, right? Unlabeled. You guys, you don't have to put to pass or under the bridge. You guys can add whatever infinitive phrase and prepositional phrase you want to. Let's do another one. At noon.
Wait, why is there a T? Oh, at. A T.
Jack
Are we supposed to
wanted.
do it now?
Jack, give me an infinitive.
Me.
Give me an infinitive.
To eat candy.
To eat. And now give me a preposition phrase.
Me?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm confused. I heard none of this.
Give me a preposition phrase now.
Tried to eat. Well, you didn't put candy, but beside the desk.
Okay. What's the first thing that we do to analyze this? We read the whole sentence. At noon, Jack wanted to eat beside the desk. Check for twos. There's one.
I'm still writing it down.
That's okay. Step number 3. Find and label the position words. There's one. At. There's one. Beside. Find and label the nouns. Noon. Desk. And the prepositional phrase. Starts with preposition, ends with a noun. Label the adjectives. Here's one. Okay. Find and label the verb phrase. Okay, we did the check for twos. Is eat a verb or a noun?
Verb.
It's a verb, so it gets double underlined. And to make it a phrase, we put the little squiggle line. It's also called an infinitive. To eat. All right. Now we need to do step number 6. Find and label the verb. Well, we just have two words left to label. So is Jack or wanted the main verb?
Wanted.
And we double underline it. Who wanted or what wanted?
Me.
Jack. So this is the subject of that main verb, right? Subject noun. There you go. So add those. Add those. All right. So does this list of verbs, am, is, are, was, were, be, being, been, those stated being verbs, are they familiar? Have we talked about them before?
Yeah, they're also the bad words.
They're also the banned words. That's right. Why did we ban these words
Because
in
they're
our writing?
boring.
Because they're boring, aren't they? They don't really tell you a whole lot. So instead of saying, Jack is in the room,
Jack
what
walked
could we-
in the room?
we could replace it with that. Walked. That shows a nice action. It tells more about
Worm.
Jack being here.
Jack
Remained.
The worm.
Jack remained in the room.
And
Jack,
There's the worm in the room.
what's he doing?
Stormed in the room.
Sitting.
Jack sat in the room. Joe said
I'm
Jack
in Harry
stormed in the
Potter.
room. Good. Okay. What about Allison is on the floor? Let's think of other words that we could use instead of is there. Allison sits on the floor. That tells you more.
On the floor.
Allison
Remains.
lays on the floor.
Lounges.
Lounges on the floor.
Draws on the floor.
Draws on the floor. I mean, that tells you, this gives you a completely different mental picture from Allison draws on the floor to Allison sleeps on the floor or Allison sits on the floor. It tells you a whole lot more about what Allison is doing on the floor, right? So, in our writing, we ban the state of being verbs. Am, is, are, was, were, be, being, been. 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 Don't use those words in your writing. You can use, like, in one paragraph, how many, you think? One or two. But really, let's try. So as you write your paragraph this week, go ahead and just write it. And then in your revision process, I want you to go through and circle all of your banned verbs that you're using and try to replace those in your revision process. Okay? Cool. Done.
Bye.
Sayonara.
Text us
Hasta la
back
vista,
to-
baby.
Bye.